Yes, we here, Ebenezer. We here.
We are here.
Okay.
We are here.
Yes, we are here.
All right.
Kenan Majisha. Eh? Hello, guys. Hello.
Hello.
What's happening
Guys, we need to wait for Sir to address us. He hasn't addressed us yet.
here? Oh, okay. But what is this session about?
All right. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Mr. Matsangu.
Morning, everyone. How are you?
Morning,
Good,
sir.
thanks.
Good and you, sir.
Morning, sir.
Ebenezer, where are you joining us from? Baloike, how are you?
I'm good,
Hello.
thanks. And you, sir?
I'm all right. Dali NR, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And yourself, sir?
I'm okay. Where are you joining us from?
I'm joining us from home.
You are home. Come hi.
No,
Yes.
go high. At the house. not
All
not
right.
in the rural areas.
All right.
From the village.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask you to use some of the options here. I'm hoping you can see my screen because I'm sharing a screen here. So you can use this button here, raise hand, just to raise your hand so that I can see you want to say something, because I'll be talking and maybe you have a question or anything like that. So this is a question and answer session. I have to emphasize that it's not a teaching session, so we will go through questions and answer for digital marketing. The session is recorded, so it will be available in case you experience some network issues as well. So we're gonna start looking by some of the questions that we already in the discussion board. But can I ask, are you guys seeing my screen, which is showing my tutor right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're all on the same page. Let's go to the discussion board and try and clarify some of the questions that were asked here, starting with the very first one. So this question was asked by Shai. Can someone help with the 5S for section B? I don't understand those. Ms. Shai, are you here? Okay, she's not here.
Sir, can you kindly ask the students to switch off their mics? I'm having trouble with hearing you.
All right, guys, if your mic is on, you can simply switch it off for now. Baloike, your mic is on. Okay, thank you for that. All right, the question was about 5 objectives, which the student said she doesn't understand. MJ Kokobane also indicated that he or she does not understand. And Malapela indicated that I think you have to create your own objectives based on Netflix, on how they can plan ahead, or those objectives should be specific and include date. So basically, I'm gonna open the assignment as well so that we're on the same page. So if we look in the assignment and in terms of the objectives and that question, I think it was section B, if I'm not mistaken. So let's try and view that. Yes, the question is on section B, whereby you are required to propose a strategic objective for each of the 5S marketing objective for Netflix. So here we've got two annexures, annexure A. Oh, sorry, in this case it's only one annexure, which is just annexure A. However, we also share a document that shows you a digital marketing or a typical digital marketing plan. And in that document, you start by developing or doing a situation analysis, which was section A. So basically what we do here, we want to see where the company is at in terms of digital marketing activities or digital tools. And based on that, we can identify some gaps. And if we identify any gap regarding digital marketing activities, which means that the company is not basically using all digital activities, we can propose some strategies to improve that. So that will be section B of the assignment. And then there was a follow-up question, same here, like how exactly are we supposed to propose a strategy objective? So we're also gonna look at this example, which was also shared. So the example that we are using is based on bid or buy case study. And then it does show that typical digital marketing plan that you must follow. So when you look at this digital marketing plan guidelines, it's an overall assessment or objective of this module. So at the end of the year, or once you completed this subject, we expect you to be able to develop a digital marketing plan, and it will be based on these aspects here. At the moment in assignment 1, we're only going to look in situation analysis and objective. This is chapter 2, and then this is chapter 1. This will be chapter 3, and then chapter 4, chapter 5, as well as chapter 6. And then in terms of tactics, we look at that in chapter 7. Actions and control, it will be later in chapter 8. So since we are only busy with chapter 1 and 2, that's why your assignment is only limited to here. So in terms of objectives, since you are asking how do we actually develop that, using this as example, based on bid or buy case study, what it shows is the objectives that were developed, and then it's important that you develop all objectives, so you cannot have more than 2 sell and without sizzle. So you must have sales, saving, speaking objective, saving objective, as well as sizzle. So this, you make up your own suggestions, you develop them. So it should be objectives whereby you plan them in the next few years, because a digital marketing plan could be a long term, like 3 years. It could also be a short term, like for a year. So it's important that your objectives are very specific. They have numbers, as you see here, increase them by 100,000, we see 50%, we see 6 months. As well as that, they must be measurable. In other words, it simply means that how can we know we have achieved that objective or we did not achieve that objective? So in this case, we said in order for us to sell, we can increase the affiliate program incentives to 150 for every additional registered user that is referred to bid or buy website by the same person from 2020. When we read the case study about bid or buy, they were offering 100 Rand for an incentive if you refer someone to the website. So if you want to sell more, you can just suggest that maybe if they increase that to 200 Rand or 150, most people will be able to actually refer other buyers to our website. All right. Kunware TR, I see you raised your hand. Your mic is still off. You can just switch on your mic. Okay, it might be a problem with connection there. Any questions that you have here or follow-up questions, guys? You don't have to raise hand. You can simply switch on your mic. Yes, Moletsane?
So if we're making up the objectives from our own minds, are we making up the numbers as well and the dates that the objectives are to be achieved on?
Yes, that's a very good question, because you have to think about the numbers. But in some cases, the numbers that you are using, they should more or less correspond to what the case study is saying. For example, in this case, the case study was saying 100 Rand for bid or buy. So you can say, if we say increase to, we could not say like increase maybe to 50 Rand, because it won't make sense. I'm not sure if you understand what I mean by that.
Well, I do understand according to this bid or buy case study, but what about the Netflix case study? Because it doesn't contain a lot of dates, a lot of numbers.
Yes, then you must make your own.
Oh.
So you can make your own numbers there. For example, if there is nothing about the numbers in terms of the date, then you can plan it in the next 3 years or 1 year. It's up to you.
Okay, I understand. Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Matangu,
Yebo.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Kunwane?
Mr. Matangu,
Yebo.
yeah, I was saying these amounts, figures, and percentages, do we come up with our own, or do we come up with our own figures and percentages, or do we take them from the case study?
Since we are dealing with the objectives here, which means that we are planning, we are the one as digital marketing doing the plan. It's no longer basically what has been done. So with the situation analysis in the first part here, it's what has been done. So we analyze what Netflix has done. So because now we have covered that part, we will be planning for the future. So these numbers, yes, we come up with our own.
Okay, covered,
So,
covered. It means I must change everything.
Hello?
You can add the dates. Why you have to change everything?
Hello, sir.
Like I wrote the dates from the case study, so I'm gonna only change the dates and the percentages.
Oh, yes, it's important that your dates are in future. So if the dates are maybe from the case study that is past, so yes, you just have to adapt them and make them in future. So it should be in the next few years. Make it 2022, 2025. Let's say between 2021 up until 2025.
Okay, thank you.
There was another question or comment.
Hello, sir.
Yebo.
Hello? Can you hear
Yes, we
me?
can hear. Yebo.
Yes. I'm a bit lost now. With the objectives, no? You are saying
Yeah.
we do not use based on the case study, like based on what Netflix is using. We have to create our own, like something totally different from the case study.
Yes.
Oh,
Not entirely different from the case study. Let's make an example with P2Pi once again here. So P2Pi indicated that they are using an affiliate program incentive. So this is already in the case study. The only thing that was suggested is the price to be increased. So if you make up your own, you can stay away from affiliate program incentive. For example, you can say P2Pi could use banner adverts and post those banner adverts on the website to gain more customers. You will see that maybe it's not using any banner adverts in the case study, but you are suggesting it in order to get more customers. This is about making more money or more sales. Okay, Dlamini, your mic. Thank you. Any follow-up question here?
So I have a question.
All right, I see you, Khopane. You can ask.
So I want to ask with the objectives. I get you said we must have like statistics, tangible information and sources. Is it necessary? Is it okay if you only have like one for maybe for saving, you only wrote like maybe a statistics only and stuff like that? Is it wrong or you must have everything like maybe the social media, the stats like the numbers, percentage on one like objective?
Yes. You are referring to that slide which difference between goals as well as objectives. So let's try and open that slide so that it makes more sense. I'm just gonna save it on desktop here. Can you guys still see my screen because I'm off the web now?
Yes, you can see your screen, sir.
Yes, yes, we can see.
yes.
All right, thank you for that. So you've mentioned that they must be specific, tangible, and measurable. And basically, when we allocate marks in your assignment, we'll be looking at whether is it an objective or it's too broad. So with goals, when you set them up, they become too broad. They are not intangible. For example, this will be an example whereby, let's use P2Pi again. Let's say P2Pi just want to say we want to increase profits. So that will be a goal. It's not an objective if they want to increase profit because they are not specific. How are they going to increase that profit? What are they going to use and by when that profit must be increased and by how much? So in that one sentence, you must include your objective of that sentence will be assessed based whether is it specific. Specific, in other words, means like you cannot say open a social media account. That is too broad. So it becomes specific if you use maybe the word Facebook. We know that it's limited or it's specific to Facebook and Twitter. With the word tangible, it simply means that it can be something that we can actually measure easily. It goes with measurable, tangible, but it contains, there are two aspects that we differentiate between tangible and measurable. So in terms of tangible, we talk about that it should be 100, for example, 100 likes. It's a specific number as well. So it shows that you don't want to just increase the likes. You don't mention maybe, for example, by how many. We can measure that at the end of 2020 and say, you know what, how many lives do we have since the year has ended? So that's what measurable means. So those dates is important for us to measure the objective. So going back here, those who have your hands up, you can simply ask. Just switch on your mic.
Sir,
Yeah, Bo.
I can't hear anyone. I don't know what's happening.
But
I don't know if you
hear.
can hear me. I don't know how to respond. I don't.
So you can't hear me now.
Hello?
Yeah, maybe it has speakers. It should be a speaker problem, that one. But in any case, since the session is recorded, you'll be able to actually view the session later on. Okay, another person who raised your hand up. Mukofane.
Hello, sir. Sir,
Yebo.
can you please explain? Can you please explain user-generated content again, please?
User-generated content, is that a product, no?
Yes, the product.
The product, okay. Let's quickly go back to the slides. So now we'll go to chapter 2. So the slide that I had, I think it was chapter 1. So let me quickly go to chapter 2 there.
Mr. Mashlangu, it's Mrs. Van der Merwe from Bombela.
Hi, my colleague, how are you?
I'm fine, and you? While you're searching for the slide, I will explain to the student user-generated content. In digital marketing, when we are promoting a product, either on Facebook or on a website or any digital platform, then there are content that are developed by the company to promote the product. In other words, all the pictures and information and content that they upload is called firm-generated contents, because the firm or the company have generated the content. But on Facebook, for instance, we also have a situation that we can like the posts of certain products, or on Instagram, or we can share information about that content, and that we then refer to as user-generated content. In other
Yes, I fully agree with you, and we're gonna illustrate using maybe a table here so that you understand a little bit further in terms of content in general. Yes, so you've mentioned Facebook, Ms. Van der Merwe. I think that will be for user generated. And then some company whereby, like she mentioned, that it's firm-generated content, it simply means that it's an organization content. For example, Netflix, it's not user-generated because it's not the customers who generate that content. And then we also look in terms of the global scale, in terms of the content. For example, we talk about international content as well as local content. So both these are international. Because some companies, for example, are only based in South Africa. And then the content needs to be changed, needs to be adapted. An example here will be Netflix is competing in this market with other companies DSTV Now app, it's also a digital TV as well as Showmax. But if you look at their content, it's not an international content, it's more of the local content. But as my colleague mentioned, in terms of just understanding user-generated content, we simply refer to the content that is uploaded by users. Even if when you buy and sell on Gumtree, it will be user-generated content. Is there any other hand up here? Can go ahead. Just switch on your mic.
Oh, hi, sir. I wanted a further elaboration as far as the process is concerned. I'm a bit confused as to how the steps follow each other from 1 maybe to 5. Like what is it that I look at when I put them in order?
Oh, okay. So you are talking about the process in terms of the 8 Ps, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So now the process, there are 2 ways to do this. The objective for remixing the process in this case is to offer efficient service process database as well as to integrate the database. So the tools that are used online, they must show a customer stock availability. These are examples of what the process actually should allow the customers to see on the website. Things such as online booking, to get the invoice, the text alerts are used as a tool to actually enhance this process to make it more efficient. But now, your question is based on the example that was used on bid or buy, because like I've said, there are you can do it in 2 ways. Let's quickly go to the process that was done here, whereby we indicate that in terms of a seller, the first thing has step 1, they will register on the website, they will post an item, they will enhance an item with the price, they will wait for buyers, and then they will pay a success fee as well as make sale. So the process when you develop it using this format, we call this a service blueprint process. So in marketing, we have a service blueprint that shows steps that customers will go through. And then if customers follow this process, there is a physical evidence for each and every process that, okay, if a customer registers on the website, what are the tools that we're going to use to support that customer? So those are the tools that you see on the slide here. So basically this process is in a way incomplete. With an in-depth digital marketing plan, you will show a service blueprint. So for now, because we are still doing it as a first time, you will just have to list the process the way you think from customer's point of what he or she will need to do in order to get the final product from the beginning up until the end. It is, I must emphasize that the process, it will require you to have at least 5 steps. So do not have a process with 1 and 2 or just 1 and 2, 3. Think thoroughly the process. At some stage, even if there is weight somewhere in the process, a typical example of a service blueprint that is used in most case studies in marketing literature is an example of going to a restaurant, and that process has 15 steps that you will never think about, but the process which will show small detailed steps, for example, waiting for a waitress, paying the tip, and so on. So think about the process. Even if the customer does not do any action, you include that as well.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. So in this case, you will think about the process that is in the case study. There are some items that or few ways that you can pick up, but if something it's more practical, an example, but is not in the case that you can include that on the process as well. And just to add, because that's a very good question in terms of the process, just to add regarding the process, let's quickly open it again. Just to add here, you will see here it says seller and it says buyer, because these are two different processes that are followed by two different target markets. So in your case, some case studies, it could be just about sellers only, or it could be just about buyers. There is not two different, but you will still have two different processes, because a buyer could follow one process to achieve one objective and follow another process to achieve another objective. A typical example here will be a buyer, maybe he wants to subscribe. A buyer, another objective, a buyer maybe has an issue in terms of the bill and so on. So it will be two different processes that they will follow. So going back to the discussion board, I think this question, it will answer some of other questions that were asked in the discussion board here. But let's see if maybe we've already covered some of the things. I think this was regarding the process one that you've just asked about, so we've covered this one. LA Manchu, you are here, right?
Yes, sir.
You are the one who asked about the process just now, ne?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I've elaborated on it, so yeah.
Crystal.
Matlapeng, are you here? All right, El Matlapeng asked, regarding the 5S objectives, are the objective based on what we want from Netflix in a certain period of time? So in this case, I understand this question. Is anyone here with similar comment or follow up on this question before I continue here? So just to answer this question, I will also type it in here because we did not respond to this question. Oops, sorry. Okay, I did not respond to this question yet. I will answer it after the session. In terms of 5S objectives, I'm gonna go back to a rubric or as well as a template that we are using for a digital marketing plan. So remember that template is included on this case study bit.by as an annexure. The first thing that you are required to do is to conduct situation analysis. And in terms of the situation analysis, you want to analyze whether the company, you want to see what online tools are they using them according to the 8 Ps. So regarding this situation analysis, you do not suggest here, you do not develop anything, because you are still simply doing something such as SWOT analysis or doing something something such as research, you just want to find out whether the company is using digital means or not. Once you have found out that, okay, they are using all these digital means, but there is a gap in terms of partnership, or there is a gap in terms of people, or the same thing that they are using can be improved, you come to step 2, which is the objectives here. And then in the objectives, that's whereby you will actually develop digital marketing objectives, which means the objectives here, they are new. It's not what has been done previously. So in short, the difference between doing an analysis as well as developing the objectives, because those are two different things. So with the first step, situation analysis, it must be from the case study, whereas with the objectives, those are the new suggestions that you are making. And Ardali?
So basically, we don't have to even give a simple example from the case study.
Okay, this is not an answer after.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, Ardali?
That was not me who was speaking, sir. I'll speak after him.
Sorry, I understand. Oh, yeah. Okay, so can you repeat the question? Sorry.
I was saying on the objectives.
Yes.
Can't we just give a simple example from the case study and make my own on the other side?
Okay, can you elaborate a bit? I do understand what you are saying. Can you elaborate a bit?
Like on the Netflix, they can talk about shows like Shadow and what, but
yes,
in the other side, I know about Blood and Water and stuff.
Yes.
From, Netflix.
Yes, which means that you can use the ones that are in the case study, but improve them, or as well as like you are saying, for example, they talk about old shows in the case study, but now you can adapt those shows to the new recent shows like Blood and Water in your example as you develop them.
Okay, covered.
Yes, you can do them. You can do them like that. Another example, it could be something such as they already have social media page. They already have Facebook, and then you just want to say maybe they should run a competition on social media page on that Facebook page, or they can do a poll. So it does not mean that since they've mentioned Facebook in the case study, you can no longer mention Facebook anymore.
We can also use these dating sites like Badoo.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, there was another hand. Tali, yes, you are the first one.
Thank you, sir. So I want to on the 8 P's. So I want to understand that, I mean, there's some elements that are not necessarily, isn't it? It's a situational analysis. We are looking at where the company is right now. So there are some objectives here. I mean, not objectives. There are some elements there. You say the digital tools. You see the gaps there. So where you see the gaps, do you write it on your 8 P's? Do you write that I see that they don't have 1, 2, 3, or you just write down what they have, but not necessarily mention the gaps?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because you'll have to keep those gaps in mind for you to develop the objectives at some stage. So basically, you don't write them then. So when you do the situation analysis, it will be better maybe in real life you have another page or another document where you list those gaps somewhere, so that when you come to the objectives, you can at least try and and meet those gaps. So you don't write them necessarily on the situation analysis, but they must be in your mind somewhere.
Okay, sir. Makes sense. Thank you.
So using an example there, for example, it could be maybe it's a small company here in South Africa, because we are lacking in terms of digital tools. Let's say you know someone who has a very good product. He sells those products. It could be art by the streets, or it could be by their house and so on. They don't have any online presence. So as you do the digital marketing plan, you do the situation analysis, you identify under promotion, no website, no banner ads, no social media there. You won't write those things down. You will only write what they are currently doing. Maybe they are using something such as Gumtree. They are selling their products on Gumtree. You will write there, okay, they are using Gumtree. But when you do the objectives, they must be in your mind that, okay, they need a social media page, yes.
Oh, okay. Also on objectives, what I wanted to know is that you can say that, yes, they have social media, but they're not using it effectively, for example. Is that something that you can say is an objective?
Not an objective per se. On the situation analysis, you can write it like that they do have social media page, but maybe they are simply using it for address, not for posting and so on. But when it comes to objectives, you must tell them what they should do now.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, pleasure. The next question. Matlapeng and Hopane, I see your hands are up. Okay, Hopane, sorry, yes.
So I want to ask if maybe you know something, Mara, it's not on the case study. For instance, for physical evidence, Netflix, when you want to cancel, or maybe they charged you, and when like for instance, they give you a month for free, and maybe you forgot to cancel and they start charging you, and you want to cancel it, they give you back, like they refund you the money. They didn't write it there, but then if you know how they are doing that, is it possible for you to write it down?
I'm sorry, can you repeat again?
Like for physical evidence, it shows maybe the company, it enables the clients to ask for refunds. So it's not
Yes.
on the case study, but then Netflix enables customers to ask for refund. So is it possible for me to write it down even though it's not there, yet I know where Netflix does that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. What do you think? Sorry to put you on the
Because I wrote
spot.
it for physical evidence that
They do allow, because you know Netflix does allow it.
yes, they do allow it, but then
It's not indicated in the case study then. All right. In terms of that, when you do the situation analysis, since we are dealing with the case study, and this case study has been written and set up, and there is a memorandum, and that memorandum it will be based on that specific case study. You should not write anything that is not on the case study, although you know in real life it happens.
oh, okay.
Yeah, because now at some stage you'll be dealing with a different case study, which is maybe you never heard about that company at all. And then we want to have one rubric or memorandum. That is the reason we have the case study, is because so that we can develop a simple memorandum regarding the case study that was set there. So even though you know that they do have refund policies, as you do situation analysis, your only reference is the case study, yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. Going back to the discussion board, and let's see if we've covered some of other questions here. Remember, you can continue raising your hand as we continue. Matlapeng, help us with your mic. Thank you. So physical evidence, I think is the one that we've just covered now. And let's take price here. Someone asked a question about price. Bimushi, are you here? He or she asked, guys, since, well, there is subscription and there's also a free subscription, which is a trial in the case study, do we list them in separate bullets or under one bullet? So we're going to look at different types of pricing that a company can use to elaborate or to answer this question. So once again, just going back to the case study, to the slides. So we've got price as a marketing mix element. Our digital marketing objective is to offer a range of purchase options. If you think about traditional marketing and digital marketing, is that with traditional marketing, customers need to be at the place in order for them to buy the products. So the price options that they usually use if you want to go to a mall or a simple store that does not have a digital means, it will be usually be cash or swiping your card there. But now, since we are talking digital or online, what we want to do here, our objective is to give customers as many price or options that they can use, which means they can pay these prices while they are at home, as well as different tactics within those online prices. So what you should take into account here is that all these price methods, when we're talking about online digital tools, they must be online prices or online pricing methods. So we're no longer looking into physical transaction or anything like that. So if they allow you to pay for your product using a physical means, whereby you're supposed to go to a mall or a bank to transfer the money and so on, or to deposit cash, we will not consider that as an online digital price. But now, in terms of online digital pricing methods, we've got different prices that are used. Subscription, it simply means access. So you must be able to get access to see certain content on the website. So that's what the word subscription means. So that subscription could be a once-off, monthly, yearly, and so on. So some pricing or some subscription methods are free subscription. We've got a lot of companies which uses free subscription and they make profit out of all this. For example, we're talking about Facebook, as my colleague mentioned earlier with user-generated content. Facebook, to access Facebook, it's free subscription. You don't pay anything, but they are still able to make money using things such as ad-supported content and so on there. So these are different pricing methods. And the question that was asked on my Twitter was regarding this, because they have two different pricing methods. For example, they have that free trial as well as once after, I think it was 30 days or 14 days. That's when you start paying your monthly. So it's one pricing method there, but you write them both under one bullet. So I will answer that question on my Twitter as well, that it's under one bullet in terms of subscription there. that trial as well as the monthly subscription, because we're simply talking about access. How can customers access the content on my or on the Netflix, not my Twitter, sorry. Yes, you can ask your student number there. I don't have your name, sorry. You have your hand up. You can simply switch on your mic. Okay. Langeni?
Morning, sir. Under promotion, like, can you create your own like promotion tool? Like, I don't understand. Must we like promote the packages or just Netflix as a whole? Because I really can't find like a specific example from the case study.
For promotion in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm asking, your question is based on promotion, right?
Yes.
Yes, in terms of promotion, because this is part of the marketing mix and it is part of the situation analysis. So no, you don't create, you just take the ones that are in the case study, you identify them, which ones are they using.
Oh, yeah, okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, so basically it covers all other P's, not just promotion, from product to partnership. You must talk about what they are currently using. So it's just the identification that do they have any sales promotion, that do they have social media, do they have this, and so on. In the textbook, it's not 5 like this. The slide will only show the 5 that are mostly used. But if you look in the textbook, there are 10 different promotions. So it's important that you also use the slide as a support to study your own.
Another question, sir. If like you write your answers, is it a must for us like to write those keywords? Like, let's say personal selling, and then you write an example, or can you just write the whole example without putting that keyword?
You can do it either way, because as long as we see that you've done the analysis there, for example, you can paraphrase. You don't have to quote the case study the way it is. You can paraphrase, but it should make sense. So it should not just be keyword that is just one way that a lecture does not understand. And we also don't want to read like 3 sentences just for you to give us an analysis. So yeah, just be as specific as possible, but yeah, it must make sense. I can say it like that.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right. Malapela? Malapela, is your hand up? All right, we're gonna continue here. We've covered most of these P elements, but there's a question about online quiz here. Is there anyone who have a follow-up question? Because the question here is just age regarding online quiz. Anyone who experience problem with online quiz or who have a question to support this question can simply switch on your mic.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Where do we find the case studies for the online quiz?
The case study for the online quiz. There are 2 ways you can access the case study for the online quiz. The first method I'm going to illustrate here on the screen is to actually go to that specific activity. So my screen here shows activities and it says download the case study by clicking the icon on the left because we have a quiz there. So to my left, this is an icon. So as I click here, it should download the case study. So there is a case study that is the first option that you can use to actually download the case study. The second method that you can also use is to basically just go to the study guide. The study guide also have these case studies. So you can, in the study guide, go to the learning activities, you'll have the case studies.
Oh, okay, thank you, sir.
All right. And I also want to add on this question that you've asked here is that most of these links here, they have something. So even if these words are not written, download, you can simply just click on the link. It should download some of the things. Let's use an example of, there was a question regarding the textbook that one student could not access the textbook, or where can they access the textbook? I can't remember who asked that question. It's somewhere in the discussion board.
Sir. Okay.
Yebo.
It's Dali. I'm one of them who was asking, but yeah, I got help.
You did got help regarding that.
Yes, I did get help.
Okay. So how did you access it?
So I asked one of the students to send it to me, and they emailed it to my email address, and that's how I got the.
Oh, okay. I will also respond. Sorry.
Yes, like, so further to elaborate the question as well is that when can we get the physical textbook, because we never got it, and they've already delivered. Well, I just got my delivery now of the study packs, and there's nothing regarding digital marketing. We don't even have a textbook for digital marketing. So are we by any chance going to get the textbook, or what is the plan with that?
Oh, yes. Thank you for that question. The textbooks are available at the bookstores. However, with this lockdown and the movement, remember we had the restrictions and so on. And some students, they left those textbooks at their residences as well. So basically, if it's a must, or in this case, I don't think you really need a physical textbook, because you can just use the copy that is on my tutor, but it's available at the bookstore. So you can simply send me an email. I can send you that form. Then you simply go to the bookshop, get the textbook. But there are students who left them at rest, and those students, unfortunately, at the moment, we don't have any official communication with going back to or having access to the residencies and so on. So the textbook is at the bookstore. You can send me email. I can complete it if you really want it. And since you're asking that follow-up question, on my tutor here, where it says prescribed resources, when you click here, it shows you the information, but as I was indicating earlier on, that these links have something. So if you click on this link, for example, if I click here, I do get that electronic copy, the full textbook, so 691 pages there. So you can use that. Since some of you got it via email, but let's say someone else doesn't, they can use this method to get the textbook. Furthermore to this, inside the learning content, for example, let's say learning unit 1, a person can simply click here on additional readings. You will see it tells you the textbook, and this link also works. If you click here, it won't download the whole textbook. It will only download the chapter that is referring to. So this will be just chapter 1 of the textbook. Dali, is your hand up?
Yes, so I tried to open the link and it didn't open. That's why I was asking in the group. So I think there might be other people who are struggling with that link as well, because it just really froze. Nothing happened. But also, sir, remember, not all of us necessarily have laptops. So that's why I'm asking about the physical textbooks. Because sometimes you need to read from the textbook from your phone and type the assignment from your phone at the same time, which is practically almost impossible. It's just hard. It's usually you need to go and ask somebody else to borrow their laptops, and not everybody wants to, or you need to go to an internet cafe and pay money, of which we don't even really have to actually. So it's very hard. It really is hard. So getting physical textbook will be very helpful to most of us. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense, especially if you indicate the phone issue, like browsing and typing. So it makes much easier. So yes, the textbook. For those who are in Pretoria, yes, you can go collect it at Protea Bookshop. So I will. Those who need to go, they can send me an email. Just say, can you please send me a form to go collect a textbook, and then I will send you that form, and then you go with that form there, and then they will issue you a textbook.
Okay, thank you, sir. It doesn't matter which one it is, even the one near the science campus is fine.
No, it does matter. It's only that one at the main gate.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Ms. Van der Meer?
I see there's a student that is asking about the slides. We will upload the slides onto my tutor for the chapters that we have covered. Then you can access the slides there.
Oh, okay. Is there slides for chapter 4, right? I think.
No, I don't think for 4, but I think there is for 5.
So the student is asking about the new slides for the next coming weeks.
Or maybe the student can tell us which slides they are referring to. I just noted the question in the discussion box.
Oh, Simelane, this question, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Simelane, are you here? Okay, I can quickly illustrate regarding the slides on my tutor here under learning content, unless they're asking about new chapters like 6, because we've got learning unit 1. This is chapter 1, so the slide for chapter 1 are here, like I've downloaded them. So you click here and then you go to PowerPoint slides, and then if you click this link, it does download the slide. So that's how you can get the slide. And in terms of some of the things, maybe if you click them and it takes longer, maybe the file it's a bit big and your network maybe might be poor, so you must just wait a bit if it takes a little longer, but it should be available if you download it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any follow-up questions before we close the session, you can simply raise your hand, because we will be closing the session, and I will just remind you in terms of submitting the assignment today by midnight. That will be via email, not on my tutor, strictly via email. Okay, Mlangeni, can I take your question?
Okay, so I'm asking on behalf of Malapele L, because like his mic is not working properly. I asked me to ask you that please give clarity on people, because he clearly doesn't understand.
People element.
Yes, people element.
So basically regarding the people element of the situation analysis, And there was a question. Thank you for that, as well as for asking for that students as well, because there was another 3 questions that were asked regarding the people element here. So we do need just to make some examples here. In terms of the objective, we must start looking at them. Regarding this marketing mix, we want to allow customers to get information that they need. They should get it faster, as well as at the reduced cost. So that's our objective for people element. So at the back of our heads, we must always compare online as well as traditional. That's before we come to these examples, because if we jump to these examples without thinking about what are the traditional ways to actually get information. So in traditional ways, without online means, there is no website, there is nothing. You must physically visit the branch, like going to a bank or going to a mall or going to school, for example, to campus. And then the people element, it simply means that is a physical face-to-face interaction. Whereas with online tools, this person is no longer face-to-face, so it replaces the word face-to-face. But it does not replace the person behind the tool. So these tools, for example, it could be autoresponders, whereby it's just an automatical system. It could be an email alert, which is also an automatical system. But you've got things such as live chat, whereby you will have a physical person, but is not face-to-face. So we must always remember that, okay, anything that is not that actually works to remix the people element, it will be to enhance the process whereby it's no longer face-to-face. So live chat is part of it. So this example simply means how do we allow customers to actually get information as fast as possible. With the Netflix or any other case studies, if you read them, just think about if a customer have a question or if a customer wants to log in an issue, experience problem, what are the options that they have that they can actually access that information on the website. So these are part of the options. This is the website. A good practical example that I will add regarding the people element is what is currently happening right now as we speak here, that we are using an online tool, but it's digital, although it's still us, as we know each other, students, lecture, and so on.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mlangeni. Shamini, Yebo?
Yes, sir. Can you please elaborate on section C? Like how are we supposed to?
C.
Yes, because I saw it's for 15 marks. What is it exactly that we have to submit in section C?
The online quiz, did you do it, Lamini?
No.
Because, okay, since you did not do it, and the online quiz, there is a quiz on quizzes website, and there was another question. Thank you for asking that question, because before I forget, regarding quizzes, those who did not play, and there was another student who said he's not sure whether, I'm not sure if the student is still here, he indicated that he's not sure whether the online quiz that is referred to is the one that he or she played. So your question, it refers to section C. Let's quickly open the assignment again. Portfolio of evidence, right?
Yes.
With the 15 marks. So there are 3 learning activities that are indicated in the assignment. So one of it is the one that we are doing now, which is an online question. So as long as you participated, so basically because it's 15 marks here, you can see
So
3 quizzes.
for participating now.
Yebo.
Oh, okay, nice.
In the discussion board, did you participate? So that's another mark. So you
I
must.
didn't put any questions.
you must participate in the discussion board. You can just write a comment or anything there, ask a question. And then another one, it was this quiz as well. So I'm gonna open the quiz again so that those who did not play, they can use, but it will be a different game code that they can use. So I'm gonna quickly open it. By midnight, before you submit your assignment, use your student number as well when you log in on the quiz to make sure that you take advantage of the those physical portfolio of evidence and make sure that you don't lose marks. So in terms of the quiz that was played regarding digital marketing, it was 23 players that have played. Let's see, completed 4 days ago. Yes, because it ended so in this case, it's still running. So if you did not play the quiz, you can simply take the new game code. Use this game code now. This one will expire today, 7 August. So anyone who did not play the quiz, you use this game code and then make sure you play the quiz. Those who played it previously, it's fine. We will still look at your quizzes then. And I must emphasize that the portfolio of evidence is from time to time. So from time to time, your lecturer will announce. And here, Pretoria campus, as your lecturer, these are the quizzes that we are using. From Bella campus, they might be doing a different thing for portfolio of evidence. So please liaise with your lecturer regarding the portfolio of evidence. What are the activities that are needed to be done there? Okay, I would like to propose that I end the session, but before I do that, Marcelo.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm all right.
I just want to check, does it matter what we score the quiz? Because I see that it will, after you complete it, it will ask if you want to redo the quiz again.
As long as you've completed the quiz, it does not matter whether you've got full marks or half marks.
Oh, okay.
But you must do all the questions, so yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've recorded this session. It's also it will be available. Thank you for participating. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye, Mr. Mashlangu.
Thank you, Ms. Van der Meer, and enjoy your day.
Same to you. Remember to stop the recording, otherwise we lose.
Oh, yes, thank you for that.